Hey there. So it's been a long week and a big day as I have been sharing all about my Pleasure CEO program with the world, which has been fantastic. So I am reclining and relaxing, but I thought I would take it as a quick opportunity to share with you what am I even talking about when I mention a feminine-powered operating system. Because that sounds good, but what the heck does it even look like? So what I have been talking about is that, we ladies need to come to a realization that we live in a man's world. Again, nothing wrong with men, but we've been conditioned to run off of a masculine-powered operating system of like hustle and getting things done and making things happen and to-do lists and thanks for the hearts. And that's all well and good, but we're women and we run on different fuel than men. And when we run our operating systems like men do, then all kinds of problems happen where we get adrenal fatigue and drained and exhausted, and it just doesn't work. So I want to share what I even mean by a feminine-powered operating system, and this is something that I've developed after studying so many different areas. I was a healer for 10 years. Let's see. Okay, we're back. So anyway, let's talk about this 5-part feminine-powered operating system and what I even mean by that. And this is how we, as women, uninstall the masculine operating system that is predominant in the culture, and we install the feminine operating system so that we are running on the fuel that actually feeds us and doesn't drain us. So, okay, step 1 is all about breaking free from conditioning, because we're running on the wrong operating system to begin with. And so many of us are really so oriented to what other people think, what's outside of us, our almost like our power is oriented outside of us, and we need to learn how to break free from all of that. Like, get out the sword, slice down the chains, so that we can get free to know who we actually are from the inside out. So step 1 is all about saying, I'm done, I'm not doing it this way anymore, and I need to break free from conditioning. So now we're ready for step 2, which is all about opening up our desire channel. Now, this is important because so many women are not connected to their desires at all. They may not even know they have any, or if they do have them, they feel like they're selfish or they squash them because they don't think they'll ever get them. And I just see so many women who just don't have access to desire. And here's what I've learned about desire, that they're actually quite sacred. So desires are sparks that rise up from your soul and send you in the direction of a nutrient that you need. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is entirely applicable in business. So when you have a desire that rises up from your soul and sends you in the direction of a nutrient you need, that is a GPS that you can actually use as your best business coach. But the problem is you need to be opening up your desire channel so that can be something that you can follow. So it's great, like in step 1, you break free from conditioning. In step 2, you start to know who you are from the inside out, and you open up your desire channel. Okay, now that leads us to step 3, which is a little scintillating, and this is now where we're going to expand your sexuality, because your sex power is like a nuclear power plant that you have. Think about it. Your sex power can create new life. Like, do you get how powerful and potent that is? So if we can find a way to tap into that and you can harness it to power up your business, that can make a huge difference. Now, of course, we come up against some problems, though, because our society shames us so much around our sex, unfortunately. So for so many women, that sex power is completely shut down and they don't have access to it. So I'm a big believer that all we need to do is expand beyond the edges of our comfort zone into the next level of our exploration. Your expansion doesn't need to look like mine, but I do think there's a place where you can have access to more of your power. And in case this sounds absolutely crazy, I want you to realize that back in 1937, Napoleon Hill was writing about such things in his seminal book called Think and Grow Rich. There's an entire chapter in this book on wealth consciousness about sex transmutation. And he got there because he interviewed 500 self-made millionaires and found that they all had a high sex drive and they were harnessing their sex power and using it for business success. We're talking about the Rockefellers and the Carnegies. So if it was good for these men back in 1937, I think it's good for us now, ladies. Yes? Awesome. Oh, I've got so many fun people with me. So Morgan, hi. Carla, my cousin, in Massachusetts. Hi, Carla. Doris, welcome. Great to have you all. And Karen, thanks for being here. Okay, so step 3 is a scintillating one. It is opening up about more of our sex power, but I want you to see why. Because I want you to have access to more of your power and look for ways to harness that, to use that in your business success. All right, so now we're up to step 4, and this is all about pleasure power. Now, this is the place where women learn to embrace pleasure as their birthright and how to feel good and allow themselves to have what they want. What I've learned over this journey is that pleasure and desire are actually very different, which I had no idea about. So desire is all about the longing and the wanting, and then pleasure is all about the receiving and the having. So they're actually 2 different sides of the same coin. But here's the thing, you can open up your desire channel and want what you want, but if you don't know how to receive it, let it in, and have it inside yourself, then it doesn't actually work. And I bet so many of the women entrepreneurs here, like you've had that big payday and gotten that awesome client and maybe had a great big live event and the money comes in, but then what happens? It just goes right back out the door. And that's because you hadn't opened up your pleasure power and been in that place of having this. Oh, I got some thumbs up. Fantastic. If anyone else wants to tap the screen and give a little love, that'd be great. So you're starting to see where pleasure power is actually important. Like we as women can learn how to follow what feels good as a way to know what's right for us. And I know that sounds kind of crazy because it's like, are we actually even allowed to feel good? I mean, we've grown up in this puritanical environment that says pleasure is bad or frivolous, or, you know, it's like if you allow yourself to feel pleasure, how will you ever get anything done? But in actuality, women are based on like that. Like that's the fuel that we run on. Oh, Kelly Trudell is here too, someone from my high school. Agawam is representing. Fascinating. I grew up in Agawam, Massachusetts, so that's what that means. So anyway, back to pleasure power is really the fuel of the feminine. We are built to feel good and to delight and to like enjoy our 5 senses in our human form. And that is what fills us up and keeps us from being totally drained. So we need to open up more of our pleasure power so that we can have what we want and learn how to follow that, again, as another tool in business. I like to say that pleasure power beats willpower every time. Awesome. Okay, so now this leads us to step 5. So step 1 was about breaking free from conditioning. Step 2 was about opening up your desire channel. Step 3 was about expanding your sexuality. Step 4 is about pleasure power. And now step 5, we're going to bring it all together to become a pleasure CEO. And this is where the rubber meets the road. So these are not just nice concepts, but these are ideas that I want you to put into action to create a pleasure plan for your business as a pleasure CEO. So this is now where you start to look at how do you create your ideal schedule for your day? How do you put pleasure pauses into your week? How do you learn how to follow turn on in business and that can be your best guide? How do you learn how to be in your body when you're doing your business tasks, like before a live event, before making a video? How do you connect to your body so you're not just this talking head? How do you make sure you fill yourself up so you're not running on fumes? Like I have a whole energy accounting sheet so you can pay attention to when the energy goes out and then when you're actually filling it back up again. So there's a lot to this Pleasure CEO process because, as I mentioned, we're so indoctrinated to this masculine way of operating of like, how much did you get done and what were your results and how much money did you make? And that's all grand. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a place for that in business, of course, but it is definitely more from the masculine. And it's just that it's out of balance. Like, we need the masculine operating system in business to a certain degree, of course, but the feminine part side of things is so suppressed that we need some time to kind of lift that up, and then ideally like have an empowered masculine side and an empowered feminine side, because we all have both sides inside of us. And ideally, they come together into a beautiful divine union. And when they work together, that's when you become a true pleasure CEO. So today, I just wanted to break it down. I have to say, very proud of this operating system that I've developed, because I was thinking about this. Probably over the last 18 years, everything I have studied, which I have probably invested in close to $500,000 to learn, has developed into this 5-part feminine-powered operating system of becoming a pleasure CEO. So I feel grateful for how this has all come together, and I hope you can see that it is step by step. And, again, it can sound nice, but it's something that I want you to utilize in order to start to shift the way that you do business. And I think it's time for us women to gather together as a sisterhood and to anchor in and land this new feminine powered operating system, and to make it as highly valued as the masculine. So that is my goal. The doors are open to the next round of my Pleasure CEO program. The link is around the video, PleasureCEO.com. And I'd love to see if you feel called to join me in this next round with women from around the world. And it's going to be very experiential. It's not just information. I've shared the steps with you today, but I want to have this safe and sacred Facebook group where you can put them into action, where you can try writing out your desires every day and see how that feels. And they might start out kind of simple and then get very elaborate, which happens with most of my private clients. So I'm excited for the journey. We start on Tuesday. There's some fabulous bonuses going on right now, so please check it out, PleasureCEO.com. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer any, or I'm also happy to finish up my Friday. I'm sending you lots of love. Thanks for those of you who joined, and I invite you this weekend. How can you explore your desires, expand your sensuality, explore some pleasure power, enjoy your feminine-powered operating system? All right, everyone, take care.